Hello friends and welcome to another video lesson from DBOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified of new uploads. This video is in the playlist called Handling Dates in SQL. And this time we'll be learning how to display date and time in SQL. Okay, we're using SQL Developer, which is the IDE tool of Oracle. So depending on the data or on our current setting, when you query a date value, it may or may not display the time. Okay, so you should know, however, that if the time data was indeed available at the time of the commit of the save, then it is definitely in the database. It's saved there. But the other possibility is that maybe the data, the time element of that data is 12 o'clock a.m., which is 12 midnight. And in that case, it will display something like 0:00:00, something like that. Okay, so let's look at an example here. Select surname, given name, middle name, birth date from employees, which is the table. And then here's the where condition, where M by D in this three values. Okay, so we query this and then it will display to us three records. So you focus on this column over here, which is of a data type. And if you notice, the values being shown are, they don't contain they don't display the time element, the time value. So like 25 MAR 06 is just a shortened and abbreviated date format, which means 25 or 25th March 2006. Now, don't worry because this is just the default format in my local setting, but something that can be tweaked without much sweat, that you can display the whole month actually in a number of ways you can display the date and the time. Okay, so this is just the default setting in my session, but we can definitely display it in many other ways, including displaying the time. So again, like I said, not showing the time may mean two things, or mean have two possibilities. One is that the date is just a setting, like in my case, and in other cases, there is really no time information saved, or the time was definitely 12 a.m. Okay, so no choice. It's really 00:00:00. Okay, now in this video, you'll be learning about the function called toChar. Okay, and this toChar, which is to character, is a function which is used for converting a value, in this case, from date to char. Char meaning, in other languages, string. Okay, so in this case, we are converting a date value into a char value, character value. So this is the syntax toChar, which is a function. So it is followed by a pair of parentheses there. Okay, and it will accept or expect at least two parameters. The first one being the date value, second one being the format mask. Okay, the format mask is a string which specifies how to specifically display the data, the date value you're trying to convert to a char, which is a string. Okay, the date value can be either a data, a column of data type. It could be a variable, or it could be a pseudo-column of Oracle like sysdate. Okay, so let's just take a look and how we can use the toChar function. So in this example, I'll be using toChar function, and together with that, I'll be using the format mask, this one, HH:/MI, this one, SS space AM. Okay, very important. I have another video about this on what things you could avoid making mistakes of or with, and it's this one. Because if you're not so familiar with Oracle and and you could make a mistake of using MM instead of MI, and it will not throw an error, but it will give you an erroneous display because MM refers to month. the numeric value of month, which is from 01, January, to 12, which is December. But MI is the right one for minute, okay? So there's no confusion there. So we're using the tocar function together with the format mask, this one here, okay? This is the hour value in numbers, of course, minute, seconds, and then the AM can also be a PM, all right? So it is this format mask, I'm using it here. So what I'm saying is I'm telling Oracle, go to the database, go to this table called employees, and display these column values, including this one, birth date. And I am just displaying side by side the birth date, the original value, meaning the value which is uh, the way it's being displayed by default, as well as the formatted one. I'm putting it in here. Okay, so to car function here. And then, like I said, it consists of two parameters. The date value, which in this case is birth date, is a column with date data type. And the second parameter is the format mask, the way how I want the value to be converted to and displayed. Okay, in this case, DD, the numeric value of the date, 01 to 31, depending on the month. The mon, the first three letters of the month in this casing, title case or proper case, and the four digits of the year, and then followed by, of course, there's a space, but followed by the time element in HH24, which is the 24-hour clock, 24-hour, yeah, 24-hour clock, colon, and then the minute, colon, and then the SS, okay? Sorry. Since I'm giving this example here, AM, I'll do this for later. I'll do this for now. AM. Okay, so let's do it. All right, so I am displaying a couple of name values here, and then the last two columns are the ones you need to focus on, the birth date as well as the formatted one of that birthday column. So you notice in the birthday column, which is, it is showing the default display as far as my local config settings are concerned. So like 25 MAR 06, like I said, is like, it's an abbreviated form of displaying the full date. So 25 or 25th March 2006. And beside that is the effect of my formatting done by the tocar function over here. It is formatting on the same date value, birth date of that row. So 25th March, here's also 25th March. Displayed differently because of the format mask, which is over here. Okay, DD, mon, YYYY. And then the HHMI, so R, minute, again, it's not MM. MM is month, minute is MI. So seconds and then the AM or PM, whichever is applicable. So in this case, notice in the first row that the date time has a value of 12 colon 00 colon 00. So sometimes in another example, you will see it will be 00. But for now, because I have the AM and the PM, which is this specified here, that is why it is displaying 12 AM for 12 midnight. Okay. Here it's PM, 3 PM. So straightforward. Okay. And that is helped by the format mask over here. Okay. So in the second example, let us look at another example wherein we will be using the alternative way of displaying the time. Okay, here we're using AM, which is something you're very familiar with. It'll either display AM or PM, depending on the time, whether it is morning or afternoon, isn't it? Okay, so let's look at another slightly different example. We'll still be using the tocar function over here, but the format mask is slightly different. Instead of using AM or PM, then I am using the 24-hour clock. So HH24 colon MI again, minute colon SS. So everything is almost the same except for the format mask in this part. Instead of using AM, I am using HH24 and then I remove the AM. Okay, so the effect you will see when we query this one. Okay, you will see that the first record, if you focus on the date time, it is showing 00 colon 00 colon 00. That is because we're not using AM anymore. So if earlier it was showing 12 colon 00 colon 00 space AM, 12 morning or 12 midnight. But here, because we have removed the AM, then it is displaying in 24-hour clock. Sometimes it's just military, it's called military time. So it is 00 colon 00 colon 00. In any case, you are seeing that because of, with the help of the to-car function, we're able to display the time element, which is otherwise would not have been displayed by the default settings over here. So I'm showing them side by side. They're the same, it's just that they're displayed differently. This is by default in my local settings, and this is by with the help of the to-car function. Okay, so 7 June 2001, here's 7 June 2001. But beside that is the time element, 15, 13, 26, which means 15 minus 12 is 3, so this is 3 p.m., 3, 13, and 26. Here, okay, 5 colon 00, meaning this is 5 a.m., okay? So if you're not familiar, then the 24-hour clock is something which starts at 00 or 0 o'clock, whatever you want to call it, 0 colon 00, meaning 12 a.m., and once it reaches past 12 p.m., 12 is still okay. Once it goes to 1 p.m., then it will keep on moving on, 12, 13, 14, 15, until it reaches 2300 hours or 23 o'clock, which is 11 p.m. Okay, if we go right just before the strike of midnight, then if you are looking at 11:59 p.m., that would be 23:59. And then once you reach 12 midnight, it's back to 0 again, 0 colon 00. Okay, so here we have seen the use of the to-car function in showing the time element, but this time we're using the 24-hour format. Okay, now we will be using sysdate. Earlier, we looked at two examples wherein we were making use of a date column, which is a column in the table called employees. This time, we're not using a physical table that we have, but the pseudo table of Oracle, which is dual. And we're also using its pseudo column called sysdate, system date, which is the, it could be the date in the server. Okay. So using sysdate, if we just execute this, like in the first example you have seen, you notice that it's just my default settings of the date, which doesn't really show the time. But internally, if that information, the time element is available, then do not be bothered because it's still there. You can display it with the use of the to-car function. Okay, so in another video, not now, not to muddy the waters, not to confuse you, there's another way to display the time element not using to-car, but I'll talk about it in another video, not now, because it will just confuse you, okay? So again, I did this query here, and by default, this is the output of the date. It doesn't have a time. Again, we will use the to-car function, but this time, as compared to the earlier examples wherein we were using date columns, which belong to a real table, here we're using just the Oracle pseudo table as well as a pseudo column called sysdate. Okay, but it will be the same application of the to-car function. So again, we'll be using the to-car function on the pseudo column called sysdate. So select sysdate. I'll be showing them side by side so you can have a comparison. Sysdate, and then here is the formatted column to car, sysdate, and then here's the format mask, and then here's just my alias, okay, from dual table. So I'm displaying them side by side. Here is the original value, default display value, 5th February 26, which is short for 2026. And beside that is the formatted one, which is 05 Feb 2026, and then the time is there, 11 colon 10 colon 22 p.m. There's a p.m. Why? Because in my format mask, I have this letter here. Okay. So same thing if I just want to display it without the AM PM thing, and then I will just add a 24 here after the HH, and that will be good. Okay, so in this case, it becomes, instead of 11 p.m., it will show me 23 colon 11 colon 01. Again, The time element is only being displayed because it is available. If it is not available, meaning it was saved without specifying the time element, then it will not be there. It will at best show you 00 colon 00 colon 00 if you were using the 24-hour kind of date format here, format mask. Okay. So thank you for watching and listening. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and click the bell. I'll be seeing you in the next video.